Okay, well, good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I specially requested to be able to have the honor to interview our guest speaker tonight. She is literally inspiration to so many women and, of course, men as well. But one of my personal inspirations, powerful lady. I'm gonna have her come on in a little bit, but just now that we're started, 10 o'clock. Just some housekeeping rules. So this is our Monday night team call. So welcome to everyone who's new. It's 30 minutes or slightly longer sometimes, 30 minutes of social proof. If you have just joined our team, WorldVentures, please know a couple of things that would really help you. Resources, the onebigteaminternational.com website. I'm sure your various teams have added you to Facebook groups. Check out the One Big Team TV YouTube channel for different information, as well as recordings of our Monday night team call, both in English and Chinese. And then, of course, make sure to download your Dream Trips app so that you have your product on your smartphone and you can start sharing this with other people. And if you're a new member, welcome again, and don't forget to book your welcome dream trip within your first 90 days. You get a better deal. So that's super awesome. You should go on and experience a dream trip right away. And of course, all of our calls and webinars are recorded and archived on our YouTube channel and on the One Big Team website. So I'm just going to do a quick plug. I think this might be already sold out, but next Monday we actually have a charity event for our WorldVentures Foundation in Singapore. So if you still want to go, maybe some of your leaders might have tickets, or you can donate to the WorldVentures Foundation. So that's super awesome. If you have a heart to give back and serve, that's something that you guys can partake in. Okay, so without further ado, I have the honor and the privilege to welcome this guest speaker for tonight. She is an inspiration, like I said, to so many women. She's recently just published a book, Mind and Money Makeover. I've gotten my copy, I've read it, and I don't have a hard copy, but I should get one so that Millie can sign it for me. But if you haven't gotten your copy, you can go onto Amazon and get one. She's just sharing her story and some amazing tips, and she really is a true inspiration, somebody that I really look up to. She used to be from the corporate world. She climbed up the corporate ladder at a young age and became a senior manager, but you know what, was totally time broke and was really looking for a way to do something different and to be able to actually raise her two girls. And 5 years ago, she saw this amazing concept, WorldVentures, and being new to Singapore with only two friends, she got started, and she's one of the legends because she had 60 straight no's. I mean, some people come in, they can't even handle 3 no's. I mean, Millie really went through no after no after no, but today she has teams all over the world. She's even retired her husband, who used to be an architect, and been on 50 over holidays in the last 5 years. So please welcome our International Marketing Director, Millie Leung. Millie, are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I love that you just popped in at the right moment.
Let me see if I can see myself. There we go. Hi, everybody.
Okay, hello. I'm going to stop the share screen so everyone can see your beautiful face. Big and
oh, that's a big
good. Everyone can see us?
Can you see us? If you can, raise your hands or type in hello or something like that.
Okay.
I'm so excited to be here today. And thank you, Christina. You've been doing such a fantastic job. I love it. Your hosting is so wonderful. Thank you so much for all your help and all your contribution to the team. You're awesome.
Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure. I'm just so excited to be here tonight. I rushed home to make the call at home because we have a couple more things we got to do after this. So yeah, let's get started. I mean, I think a lot of you, we know you, we love you, Millie, but there are also a lot of people on this call tonight who may not have heard your story. They don't know who you are. So do you want to just go ahead and start telling us a little bit about who you are and your story?
Sure, I'll just start with a little bit about background. I was actually born in Hong Kong, and I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, where I went to school. I did my bachelor degree and my master's degree in engineering in Vancouver. And after I graduated, I moved back to Hong Kong and worked in a multinational corporation. And some of the people on this call, they might actually be my ex-colleagues. And I was working in a garment manufacturing company, started from a trainee position, and I worked really, really hard. In fact, I was in the company for almost 8 years. The first couple of years in the company, I literally worked Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 at night, climbing the corporate ladder. As you can imagine, it's pretty exhausting. And I just felt I was working like a robot. And I was time broke. Although I made a pretty good income within a few years, I was elevated, became one of the younger senior merchandising manager of the company. And the company moved me from Hong Kong to the United States in Seattle. I know that there's somebody here on this call who are from the US, so hello. And so that's how I ended up moving to the US, lived on the West Coast for the next 8-9 years, and was working for this company, managing their brands. Each year, the annual turnover for the company in my division was about $50 million. So it was a lot of stress, definitely made good income, but time broke. And I was just, after a while, 8 years in that situation, I was getting pretty burned out. I was looking for a way and constantly asking myself, is there more to life than just working like a robot? So I started to question that. And I was looking for a way to really spend more time, especially when my first child, Angeline, she's now 6 years old. So 6 years ago, that's really when she was born. I'm sure that there are some of you who are parents on this call, and you know what I mean. When your child is born, you look at them, you feel like, oh my God, your world is now changed. You can no longer just focus on work. There's something very, very precious in the world, and you want to take care of your child. You want to spend the time with them. So for me, that was a big, big turning point for me to start looking for a way to really just change my life and live a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Yeah. So you were actually the corporate job that you went into, was that the one and only company that you had worked for like 8-9 years?
I worked there for 8 years, but before that, I actually worked a couple of years in engineering because I was graduated from engineering. And a lot of people didn't know that, but I also work part-time at a television station. So I was actually a television host for 3.5 years in Canada. So that was just part-time for fun.
Okay, so you definitely had your fair share of different work experience in different industries, and after a while you just completely burnt out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, there's sort of some things that you, as the international marketing director, there are a lot of people who know some of your story on how you built this business. And, we wanted to kind of touch on something a little bit different today, a little bit of a training, because I know a lot of people want to know, you came to Singapore, you saw this almost immediately after you moved here, and you only had 2 acquaintances in this country. And, the rest of your warm, hot market is outside, it's overseas. And I understand that you actually started to, build this business through, cold acquaintance market locally in Singapore. Are you able to kind of give us a bit more on how you started this and give us some tips on, how we can look into this if some people are thinking that, I don't know anyone here, or I need to start making new friends?
Sure. I can definitely answer that. Let me go back a little bit of how I actually got started in WorldVentures. So go back, that's about 5 years ago now. So I'm so grateful for the last 5 years, completely changed our lives. And how I got started is actually a couple years ago, about 5 years, August 2011, that's when I moved to Singapore from US Seattle. So what happened was that actually my husband got a job from the USA to Singapore. So my husband at the time was a full-time architect. So that's how we ended up in Singapore. So he accepted the job offer, and I ended up quitting my job, and I moved to Singapore. So that was August 2011, and that was, I didn't know anybody. We were just there because of his job. And, I think sometimes things just happen the way it is, and you have to connect the dots looking backwards. You don't always know what's coming. You just have to have faith. And looking back, 2 weeks after I moved to Singapore, that's when I stumbled across WorldVentures, literally stumbled across it. And I was, if you know, my sponsors, actually Saman and Malia, they're from Singapore, and they're fantastic. They sponsor me. I saw the WorldVenture platform, immediately caught the vision because I love the travel and I see huge, huge business potential. So I joined on the spot. Actually, at the time, I was thinking in my mind only one question. I was thinking because I knew that I have no friends. Millie and Simon didn't know that yet, but I knew I have no friends. But the only question that I asked myself at the time was, now, I have no friends in Singapore, but am I going to meet somebody in the future who's going to like the idea of traveling, who's going to like the idea of saving money on the travel, who's going to not mind making extra income and build an international business from a laptop or from anywhere they are. So that was the only questions that I asked myself. And immediately when I say, yes, definitely, I'm going to meet somebody like that, I raise my hands, I asked for the form. I said, I want to sign up. I want to be the first one who signed up because I understood the lock-in position. So I actually raised my hands and said, I want the form. I want to be in.
That's awesome. So did you actually go to like a live presentation to see the information?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so this is actually a pretty funny story. I was invited. I just met Sama and Millie on a Sunday evening because we ended up playing something called the Cash Flow 101 game together. For those of you who may not know the game, it's by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He invented this game called Cash Flow 101. It's for people to start to understand the idea of making residual passive income. That's how people can actually retire earlier, become financially free. So for me, the game and the book are definitely life-changing. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend that you do. For me, it was like a light bulb going in my mind. It's like, oh my God, there's a different path. Because I was walking the corporate path and it was not getting where I wanted to go. And when I find out that there is an opportunity, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. So I was invited by Sam and Malia to a presentation, and that was a live, big presentation. At the time, there were 8 of us. There were 8 of us. So we were in a very small industrial area. The presenter were Max Tay and Dr. Wu. So you must be thinking right now, oh my God, of course you sign up. It's Max Tay and Dr. Wu. Of course you sign up, right? Everybody's probably knocking their head. Of course you sign up. But let me tell you what happened at the time. I think Max just probably got his 6, and Dr. Wu probably just got his 6. Nobody was senior rep yet, so we were all new. But they have so much posture, and they were so excited. I believed every single word they said. So here's a teaching point. If you're starting out new, it's more important that you have the posture, you have the confidence, and you have, the excitement. So yeah, and I didn't know at the time, out of the 8 people in the room, 4 of them are already members. So there were only, it's really, really.
There are only 4 guests.
Yeah, but I was like raising to put up my hand, like, I want to be in, I want to be in. Yeah, Dr. Wu was putting in the chat box, ha ha ha. Yes, I think you remember that, right? It was so funny.
Did any of the other 3 guests sign up that day?
Yes. One of the guests signed up immediately after me, so I had a spill over immediately right after. I was very happy.
That's awesome. I wonder if they're still around, though.
I don't know. You often don't remember the people who quit or who doesn't, stick around, right? So you want to be the one.
No one remembers the people that left.
Exactly.
But actually, backtrack one more step. 2 weeks in Singapore, what on earth were you doing at the cash flow game?
Yeah, it's actually another funny game because funny thing that because I just moved here, and at the time I realized one thing. My husband had this job in Singapore and he doesn't plan to leave for a while. So I either decide to live in a vacuum for the next few years and have no friends, or I make a change and step out. So I decided to just, get out there and start to, develop my own circle of new surrounding in Singapore. So I just seriously Google and see what's out there. I type in Singapore, I type in whatever, and somehow this happened. So I found the cash flow game. I registered myself quickly, went there on the same weekend on Sunday. I was invited on a Tuesday night. Yeah, the rest is history.
The rest is history. Wow. And I know that after the cash flow game, you really went and prepared yourself. Yes. You really went and prepared. That's just incredible. You were somebody that you're just amazing. You're just there, like you went and prepared yourself to have an open mind. And what is that about you that actually, after just playing the cash flow game once, you realized that you needed to do something different and change it around? Having been in the corporate world for so long, you understood that this is something possibly that is new and you might not understand.
Yeah, so for me, it was literally a light bulb in my head after I played the game, because for the very first time, I actually saw myself being stuck in a rat race. I didn't even have that concept before. I was just constantly working like 95% of the people in the world that probably they've never realized that they were stuck in the rat race, that there is an other alternative out there. I mean, that's for most people. So one of my mission personally is actually to get the message out there that there are options. You don't necessarily have to work the next 40 years, 40 hours a week, you know, that is, and you call it life. You don't have to. A lot of people just didn't realize that there are alternatives. That's why, I mean, me and a lot of people, I know Max is, I know Dr. Wu is, a lot of people who are on this platform, we're not just here to make the income, but we're also here to really impact life. And that's just so close to our hearts. So that's one of the reasons. I just saw myself as in a rat race. I need to get out there, and that provides alternative. And I was so excited. I literally couldn't sleep for 2 days. I went back to prepare myself. I read a lot of books. I Googled everything. I Googled cash flow game. I Googled even Max Tay and Dr. Wu. Can you imagine that? And just trying to find out what is it that up to they're going to show me. So I literally.
Oh, so you mean you met Max Tay and Dr. Wu at the cash flow game itself?
Max Tay was the facilitator. And it was just, I literally just look up anything and everything that I can imagine. I Googled the place that I was at, playing the casual game, whatever that comes to mind. Just want to find out what is going on that I'm being invited to Tuesday. But of course, Millie and Simon following the system, I didn't know anything. I didn't know that it's about travel. I didn't know about anything. I said, I'm okay, I'm just going to go check it out. Because I was open-minded.
That's great. And, you know, for everyone out there, that's why you got to follow the system, right? Just invite correctly. Don't say anything. Then you might get a Millie. So since after you started, so now we're moving forward. How did you get your 4? I mean, knowing that you don't know anyone, how did you get your 4? How long did it take? What did you do?
All right. So this is going to be shocking for a lot of you here on this call. I actually got my 4 within 3 days. So yeah, so that's the thing. I started with my hot market. My first 4 people that I signed up was my brother-in-law, and my 2 best friends, one from Canada and one from Hong Kong. Now, I didn't have any phone numbers in my phone, so there were just 2 acquaintances that I don't even almost dare to call them, because I haven't seen them like forever. But I knew that I was so excited about this opportunity. I knew that in my heart, I felt this is what I want to do. I felt that this is a great opportunity. And I understood the compensation plan, that if I were to do it, I want my best friend and the closest people to me, like my family, to be on the top position. So for me, it was almost like a gift for me to share with them first, because I want them to take advantage of the position, because I know I am doing this. So I was so excited. Literally, I can tell you, this is for real. Ignorance on fire is always better than knowledge on ice. Believe me on this. I was so super excited. I don't know if they exactly knew what they signed up to. They saw the video, but I think the whole reason why they signed up is they trust me, and they also saw how excited I was. That's the reason why they gave me the credit card and signed up on the spot. So just remember that. Be excited, be passionate, be confident. And yeah, you don't have to know everything about WorldVenture to get started. You just need to know the basic and get started. Now is the time to show your best friends and your family, the people that are closest to you. Go to your hot and warm market right away.
So you called them, you Skyped them, you said, listen, you know, you got to watch this video, and they signed up.
Yeah, I make the appointment just like how I was taught. The only difference is that they were not face-to-face in front of me because they were overseas. They were actually over Skype. So I did exactly the same thing. I set up the appointment. I told them that I'm something really exciting I want to share with you. And I did the Skype call. I sent them the video. They press play to watch it in front of me, and then I did the closing. So you like to travel, like the business, or you like both. I follow the system.
Super, super simple. I mean, what else is there? And are your family members and your best friends still, you know, building this with you?
They're not really building it, but my brother-in-law is still a member. But some of them are actually one of my best friends is still a member in this club. She's been to a couple of dream trips. So, but not everybody is building it, but I am.
That's all that matters. Okay, awesome. So, you know, I think, you know, it's obvious that from the start you saw the vision, you knew what this was for you. Okay, how about we go into, well, you got your 4 right away, but what was the point where you got 60 no's in a row? And how did you go about then, like, you know, you did your hot market. What were the next steps that you took?
Yeah, so that was a great start. But what came after that was a whole bunch of disappointment. After that, I decided that, you know, I need to learn. And I found out that it's not so easy to support people when they're overseas, when I'm so new myself. I realized that it's probably best to build close before you build far. So I started learning the system myself in Singapore, and I started to want to build a team in Singapore because I knew that we have Max here, we have Dr. Wu, we have the system setting up. So we have amazing people right in Singapore. So I wanted to start to build in Singapore so they can actually leverage on the system and the team right in Singapore at the time. So I started to do, because I have no friends in Singapore, I have no phone number in my phone card. I was using a temporary card still at the time. I had no phone number. So I had no choice, because at that point I only have 2 choices. Either I give up or I give it all I can. So I decided to just give it all I can. So so you name it, co-market, I've tried. It's not the most fun journey, and I don't recommend it to everybody, especially you're starting out, you have a hot market, warm market. Please trust me on this. Just please go to your hot market and warm market first. Now, cold market, because I didn't have a choice, expect a lot of rejections if you're going right to cold market, because people only want to sign up and do business with you if they know you and they trust you. If people who don't know you, it's hard for them to know you and trust you right away. So you're going to expect a lot of no's. So I started with trying anything and everything I could imagine. Standing on the street, giving out posters, doing survey on the streets, cold calling people on the phone book, posting on forums, posting on Facebook groups. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was, you know, anything that I could imagine, I was just trying out. And of course, I didn't do so well. I had a lot of no's. In fact, 60 no's in a row. And you can imagine how sad I felt. Because lots of time when I go out there, I spend the whole day just to try to get a couple of phone numbers, just to try to get a couple of names. And not all of them are willing to come out. And for those who are willing to come on and take a look, a lot of times they didn't sign up. So then I go back to square one, go back to scratch. There's no more phone number in my phone. And I have to go back and do all the cold markets prospecting again. But if I might just, you know, summarize it in a couple of tips, for those of you who are really in a new country, and you really have no choice but to start with the cold market, I found out from all the trial and errors, there are 2 places that I recommend you if you were to start in cold market. These are the 2 places that I would want you to start rather than doing what I did. So the first place is go to networking events. So if you could look up in your local area, for example, meetup.com, BNI, just Google in your local area what is the networking events. That's a good place to start, because you are putting yourself in an environment that people understand the power of networking. People understand the power of referrals. People who are there are open-minded, they are driven, because if they're not even driven, they're not putting themselves out there at the environment. They're not even at the networking events. So you can just get yourself to the network. Forget about the cold calling, forget about the poster, forget about all those things that I did that was not effective. Just go straight to your networking events. And also the second place that I found very helpful was to go to personal development seminars. For example, if there are workshops that you already want to learn, there are things that you're interested to learn, just go ahead and register for them. Go with the mindset of learning what you want to learn and also meeting new people. A lot of times, this is where relationship starts. And when relationship starts, that's where your business can get started.
That's awesome. Yeah, great advice. So other than these 2, you know, networking events and personal development type seminars, did you also go to like other investment type seminars, or where they're kind of presenting other opportunities? Is that somewhere you'd recommend as well?
Yes and no. I did go to a lot of them, and I did end up spending some money on investment deals that didn't work, and I lost money. So I don't want to give any investment advice right here in this call because I'm not the expert on that portion. And there are a lot of things that not necessarily going to be legitimate out there in all the seminars. So I just want if you are looking into that, be very careful. But when I personally go to seminars, I go there with an open mind to take a look and learn, but more importantly, to network with people who are like-minded. That's how I stand.
And I mean, this just kind of reminded me, in this journey of, five plus years, were you ever distracted at any point? Because I know there's a lot of things out there in the market. Were you ever distracted away from WorldVentures to any degree?
I wasn't exactly distracted, but I can tell you after having 60 no's, definitely there were some moments that it was at a low point. And I was actually definitely frustrated at some point. I definitely at some point came across my mind that I wanted to give up. But what was the key turning point that really helps me to push through was the first ever training event that I've attended personally. And that was such a life-changing event for me. That was November 2011. And Mark Aseta, for the very first time, was coming to Asia. That was the first ever real big training events in Asia at the time, and that was the boot camp. And there were 90 something of us. I mean, can you imagine now boot camps like 12,000 people. At the time, 5 years ago, the first ever boot camp that I went to was less than 100 people. And it was so impactful. It was just 2 days straight with Mark Aseta. And in the 2 days, can you imagine just after having 60 no's and just wanting to give up and thinking that I am no good for this. I can't even do this anymore. I was about to give up. And walking to the seminar in 2 days' time, my mind was totally transformed. I have so much confidence in the platform. I caught the vision, I learned the skill sets, and I made the decision during the 2 days that I'm gonna go IMD. So for me, if I didn't go to the event, I wouldn't be having this life that I'm having right now. And I have to be so honest with you that I am so thankful for the mentor that pushed me to the event, because I could have came up with excuses that I didn't have the money, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the results, so I shouldn't be there. But you know what? If you didn't go there, you are not doing yourself a favor. If you don't go to the next training event, you're missing out on the next few months or the whole year that could potentially turn your life around. And you could have given up on this entire platform. So go to every single training event. That is so critical. And for me, I know for a fact that if I didn't go to the November 11 boot camp, I would have definitely became one of the statistics that nobody remembered, that I would have quitted, definitely. So I'm so thankful. And every time I show up at every single training event, I'm always there early, taking notes, engaging. So I encourage you to all of you go there and just having an open mind and go there and really, really learn from our amazing platform.
That's awesome. I was just so engrossed when you were sharing that. And that's so true. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't go to these events, because they're just absolutely incredible and life-changing. So actually, in the course of the last 5 years, how many people have you personally sponsored?
I sponsored close to 100 of them. And a lot of them are actually through networking events or Facebook or old friends that are reconnected. So yeah.
So they weren't, so as you're saying, so a lot of them, would you say like about half or more are technically new friends, like people that you met through these events and built relationships with?
Yeah, I'm always open to meet new people who are, like-minded. So throughout the years, if you're open-minded, you're definitely going to meet people. So the way I do it is, I just go out there to make friends. I'm not really go out there to have the intention to recruit them necessarily. But for me, the key thing of co-market prospecting for me personally is I want to go out there and have the mindset of being a solution provider. I'm going to go out there, create and connect and create a relationship and make friends with people. And every time I just want to be a solution provider, because if you know how powerful our platform WorldVenture is, you know that this can create an extra income for people. This can help people to become financially free. This can help people to just make friends all over the world, create amazing memories, travel the world, save money on the travel, take their parents on the trip, help their parents to retire, help their children to go to school, all these great things to give back to volunteers, all these things, and personal development is key. So we have actually one platform provides so many solutions to different people who are looking for so many things. It's such a gift. So for me, when I go out and meet people, I'm really just there to make connections and really to be there to be a friend and listen to what they're looking for. And I say, hey, if you have the situation, maybe I have a solution for you. Would you be open to take a look? That's almost always my opening line to invite them to see opportunity. And chances are, I don't think I've ever gotten a no from approaching it that way. So if you have the mindset of being a solution provider, and I always be there to share the gift of our WorldVenture platform to help them, a lot of people will be wanting to sign up with you.
That's awesome. And so these 100 or so people that you've personally sponsored, and that has grown to a team of how many people?
More than 40,000 members around the world and in many countries. So it's crazy. And if you asked me 5 years ago, I would tell you, you are totally completely crazy, because I had no prior network marketing business background. I have no prior business experience. I had no friends. I don't know anything about anything other than being an employee in my life. So if I can do it, so can you. And I learned all of these from great mentors and from our training system. So just plug into the system. It's already here. So just follow it.
So Millie, what do you think makes you a great leader? Why do you think people follow you?
Okay, can I put it this way? How about, let me say, what kind of leaders will I personally follow? I think that would be a little bit better. I would personally follow leaders who are always leading by example. What I mean by that is people who are walking the walk, who are rolling up the sleeves and doing the day-to-day, people who are doing the steps, sponsoring people, doing the presentations, attending training events, being there for their team, people who are leading by examples. These are the people I want to follow. People who are committed and people who truly care about the success of others, who have the heart. So these are real servant leaders, and we have so many of them in the WorldVenture families and so many of them in our One Big Team family. We are so blessed.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, I think this is something that a lot of women actually wonder, especially women who have children. And I know you have two young girls, and sometimes they have mommy guilt. And it's hard to prioritize sometimes when you've got kids at home. Some of our leaders are homeschooling. What is some of the advice you would give them? Because I know that you actually had your second daughter while you were building this business. You had a toddler. You seem like you were, you know, so focused, so driven, getting this stuff done, doing the day-to-day. How did you actually build and balance the time and still be a full-time mom?
It's little crazy. You're right. Actually, my older daughter is now 6 years old. My younger daughter is 3 years old. So I have a young daughter when I started building this business. And a couple months into the business, I also got pregnant with my second child. A lot of people didn't know that, but I was actually very, very, very sick during the 10 months of my pregnancy with my second child. In fact, Dr. Wu would know that, Max would know that, a couple of people on this call may know that I threw up the entire 10 months. And 1 to 3 times a day, I was ordered to bed rest 2 times by the doctor. I was not doing good. But I made a commitment to myself and to my team. I think I was still there at every single presentation. And at the training event, I only started to rest 2 weeks before I was about to, give birth. So I know that a lot of women out there who are building the business, they'll be wondering, okay, having the mommy guilt. I understand how you feel, but I also want you to know that you are building this because you want to have more time with them for the future, right? This is a short-term sacrifice that you will want to give up as just a season of your life so that you can have the time for the long time to come for your family. So there are going to be some sacrifices, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips that I personally use that's going to help you, for the women especially, or even for the daddy on the call who try to manage your time better. Because I know that a lot of people on the call who may be managing a family, who may have a full-time career that is going on. So I want to just address and give a couple of tips. And I actually wrote about this earlier as well. So there are 5 things I recommend. The first one is, I call it eliminate. Eliminate is number 1. Cut out everything that is irrelevant, unimportant, and unactionable. For example, the TV for me was the first to go. I don't remember watching TV at all for the first 3 years building business. Something had to go, and the most irrelevant things, the most unimportant things have to go. So it might mean that you might have to juggle around a little bit, cut the TV. Maybe you don't clean the house every single day necessarily. You might not check your email. Like I used to check email many times a day, but now I only cut it to 1 or twice a day, that's it. So there's certain things that you don't do and give you more time. So eliminate the things that are not important, unactionable, and irrelevant. So number 2, prioritize. Know what your goals are. Know what are the important tasks in our business. For example, the money generating, the income generating activities, the prospecting, the inviting, the presenting. These are the money making skill sets. These are the money making activities. So you need to prioritize them. So if you only have a couple hours in a week, like a lot of people who are working full time, or maybe you're full time mommy, you only have a couple hours in a week, schedule that. Maybe you only have 6 hours a week, 10 hours a week, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you are doing the activities that you're supposed to do in those hours that you have. And I know that a lot of people have done it. If you know Dr. Lee and Apple, they were having crazy schedule working full time when they started, and they were there every single presentation, they were there every single training event, and 2 years later they were able to retire themselves. So it's not the most easy thing to do, but it's definitely possible. So that was number 2. The third tip was to, of course, to manage. Do your time management, be present. Now, when I say be present, when you're working on your WorldVentures business, be present. Be doing your WorldVentures business. When you're with your kids, please put away your phone. I know that we are all addicted to our phone, and sometimes we have messages that come in, we feel like we need to respond at that minute, but you don't. So if it's not important, it is okay to play with your kids until they go to sleep and then get back. Or maybe just figure out a time when they take a nap and reply the message. So be present. When you're doing the business, be 100% in. When you're with your kid, be 100% in. Just schedule your time, manage your time. Tip number 4 is to leverage. Leverage is to ask for help from your family, from your relatives. You can get, for a lot of women, if you are building a WorldVentures business and you have small kids, try to see if there are women in the team in your local areas who are in the same situation. Swap with them. Sometimes you take care of their kids so that they can go to the presentation, they can do the 2-on-1s and 1-on-1s, but other times you swap. They take care of your kids and you go out there and do your stuff. So, form leverage and form, alliances. So that's leverage, get help, work in a team. Always working in a team is better. Number 5, the last tip is to integrate. Try to get your kids involved into the business if you could. Book a dream trip together, go on a dream trip together. If you're doing house party, I know that some people are, then have your kids. If they're older enough, they can do the opening introduction. Everybody would have a great laugh, and they would love your kids. It's such a social, such a relaxing environment. People see that it's possible, even if they have kids, to do this. And leverage on technology if you really need to. Do your home party at home, or leverage on your Zoom presentation if you really absolutely cannot get out of the house. So there are many ways to do it, and just figure it out. There are ways to do it, and many people before us have succeeded. So I have no doubt that if you think about it, you can do it too.
That's awesome. And I can just sense your passion and your drive and determination, when you're just sharing this. And I think this goes to my final kind of wrap-up question. I think this is a thing that a lot of reps face, older reps that have frustrations when they're flatlined, plateaued, they're saying that their team's not moving. What do they do? And then also for new people, they kind of don't really know where to begin. Maybe that you have like 3 specific tips for a new person to get started, but also if you could link that in to I mean, just hearing your story, just not very long tonight, we can really tell that you faced a lot of rejection, a lot of frustration, and so much difficulty. I mean, the fact that you even went out on the street to do flyers, and I can't even imagine doing that. You know, really doing the unthinkable, doing so much more than, you know, most people out there. What is it that kept you on the line, that you have this inherent, you know, drive and determination to go and finish this race? I mean, what keeps you going? Because I know we all talk about, you know, the why, but clearly, I mean, if the why were really that strong enough for a lot of us, we would be breaking through walls. I mean, you really went and did something, you know, that a lot of reps will never even do. What keeps you on that line?
I think for me it was a combination of a couple of things. First of all, of course, I have a strong why. Like, I really, really just wanted to spend time with my children. I was so sick and tired of my corporate life. And I knew that I already walked down that path. If I follow that path again, if I find another job, if I do another corporate job, the result would be the same. And it would be insane to think that if I follow the same path that I did before, I would get a different result, right? It is crazy to think that if you follow the same path, you get a different result. So I knew in my heart that I need to follow a different path, which is what it is right now. And for me, the training program was the key thing. I attend every single training that, like I mentioned, because every time I go learn new things, every time I renew my vision, renew my energy, because motivation doesn't last. But you need to put yourself in the environment so that you're constantly motivated, you're surrounded by people who support you. And for me also, I have to really thank my mentors, Dr. Wu, James Lee, and Max Tay, Raina, Angelica, and my sponsor, Millie and Sama. They are so key to my success. I mean, without them, I knew I wouldn't walk this far. I knew I wouldn't have made it. So that's why I know that for us right now that we're in a better position that we can give, I definitely want to pay it forward because I know how this mentor had impacted my life. And I'm so forever grateful for what they have done for me. And I know that a lot of you on this call, one day you would want to do the same thing for the people that you know. So keep going after your dreams and make an impact out there.
Do you have anything else to share with us for those that are flatlined, people that are frustrated? What can they do?
Yes, okay, great question. For people who reached the plateau, definitely I was there. I was there more than one time, so I knew how you feel. So the first tip I would tell you is forget about the plateau. Forget about the plateau. It's only in your head. Nobody else, none of your prospects know that you're on a plateau. Remember that. It's only in your head, so forget about it. Every time you go see a new person, this is the very first time that they are seeing the platform. Be as excited as you are, as if you are brand new. So tip number 2 is start as if you are brand new. Just doing the things that you're supposed to do as a brand new rep. This is the only way to really, really get through the plateau. And I've done it multiple times, and I know that this works because every time I know that my team is not moving, I go out there and really, really massively show people and sponsor people. So I know that it works because it has worked for me time and time over again and exploded. So do it over again. Start as if you're brand new. Have a clean, new mindset. Do your naming, show people fast, start sponsoring, you start your engine, because remember, you're the only person who's on your left team as well as on your right team. You are the person who's responsible for your business, not your sponsor, not anybody else, not even your teammate. Don't go and scold at your people. Back to the basics, yes. And really, really remember that you are the person who's in charge of your business. Don't go and scold at your people. Look in the mirror. You're the one that needs to start the engine. And number 3, really, really driving depth. Drive depth, meaning that keep sponsoring people and put it into the line and until it explodes. It had happened for me before multiple times, and I've shown this before in Momentum. I think I'll also share with some of you in the RTE. For me, when it plateau hits, I just go and go back to the basic, sponsor, and boom. For me, it was, I think, until my 44 direct, I found my first ace, my 47 direct, I found my second ace, and of course my third ace came a few months later. So from plateau out for a long time, more than a year to 2 years, I think a year plus, from that point when I hit my first ace, my second ace, 2,000 members came on board in just 3 months. And the rest is history. So just go back to the basics, forget that you're on a plateau, and start doing what you're supposed to do.
Back to the basics. And if I can ask, so the 3 aces that came, were they the ones that you directly sponsored? It's through that line that an ace popped out.
Very cool. The first one is my direct sponsor. The second one is kind of my indirect sponsor. I sponsor a friend who actually just got in the business and sponsored 4 people. And out of the 4 people, one of them became a super ace. And my third line is a friend that I haven't seen for probably 20 years. She followed me on Facebook. She contacted me because she wants to know what I'm up to. And then we connected. I showed her through Skype the video, and she came on board. And that's how I started my entire Hong Kong team. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, we have already run past our 30 minutes, but we do have something really, really important to share and promote with everyone. So I'm going to go back to my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so I am so excited because in December next month, we have this awesome event coming up, and it's a 6th anniversary of the One Big Team system, and we have some special guests coming from a lot of different countries to Singapore. And actually, the 1,000 tickets are sold out, but they are out there with other leaders. Go talk to your leaders to get your ticket. But Millie, can you share with us what we're gonna do on December 3rd?
Yeah, I'm so excited, so super excited about this event because it's gonna be just an incredible kick-ass event, if I may say that. December 3rd, definitely mark your calendar. We have some of the most amazing trainers coming to be training with us and inspiring us and teaching us what we need to do to take our business to the next level for the rest of this year and also for next year. So we have the WorldVentures youngest IMD, Sashin, all the way from South Africa is going to be here training with us. We have the amazing Buffy from Taiwan, the IMD that many of you I know already love her. She's coming all the way from Taiwan to be here on this event. We have the amazing, the most systematic, my mentor, the Knighted International Trainer, Max Tay, at this training event. Of course, not forgetting one of my mentors, very experienced. I love him. He's such a rock star. RMD Jetto, I respect him so much. He's also training us. And of course, you also have me. So hopefully you guys definitely gotta be there. I know the tickets are already sold out. You need to get to your leader ASAP. This is such an important event. And we have some major announcement that we're gonna make at this training event. So I'm not allowed to tell you more, but it's really, I tell you, I'm so excited about this. You need to be at the event and go talk to your leader tonight. If you haven't already booked the tickets from your leaders, you need to get on it. The tickets are already sold out, so I can't even tell you how important it is to go back and talk to your leaders right away tonight and get yourself to this event no matter what. I don't care if you're traveling or anything like that, cancel and be there. Important.
Exactly. I'm coming back just in time to Singapore to be at this event. I wouldn't miss it for my life. So I'm super excited to see you in person. I know we've got some other events that we're doing. It's just going to be such an amazing time. We're so excited to have you back. So that's pretty much all the major announcement. And thank you so much, Millie, for your time with us. And I know that people from all over the world have been dialing onto this call. So next week we have newly ranked director next Monday English call, Director Calvin Chan, who will be sharing with us on our English team call. We just saw him this weekend getting recognized, and really special.
Love them.
And, it's so amazing because Calvin and Fiona, his wife, are building this together. And Fiona is actually going to be doing the Mandarin team call on Sunday. So, again, we celebrated her this weekend. Just incredible story. The resilience and the perseverance that these guys have. So I would not miss this call for anything because, these guys have been in the business of 4 years and they were plateaued. So if you guys are wondering how to get off a plateau, how to stay focused, you've got to be on the call next week to hear from this couple. So with that, I know we've ran a long time, and a lot of people have said, we want more. We don't want you to go off the call, Millie. But I think it's about time 10:48.
I will see you guys December 3rd at the major celebration event, right? So all of you, please go get back to your leader and get the ticket ASAP. I'll see you. I'm so excited. I can't wait to be there, sharing with you guys.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Millie. Have a good night, and we'll see each other in about a month's time.
Thank you, Christina. Love you. You are so awesome.
Too.
Thank you.
Bye, Millie. Bye. Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night,
you
everyone.
so much. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Bye.